All right, so welcome to our Biz Launch call. We are going to spend some time tonight diving into really basic stuff around how to get your biz up and going. We're not going to make it complicated. There's not going to be any rocket science, secret sauce shared here. It's just going to be the basics that I would recommend anybody spend some time focusing in on to make sure that you're in a place where you get into action sharing your oils and that people know where to find you and what it is that you're doing, and that you actually have a business that they can come to you for as a customer or more. So if you just hopped on late, I've got everybody muted, but as I mentioned really quickly, you can unmute yourself, you can have your video on or off, and there's also a chat box at the bottom of your screen that you're welcome to type in any questions, and I will come back and reference those at the end of the call. But for those of you guys that have never met me, my name is Susan Bursick. So I am a Blue Diamond leader just outside of the London, Ontario area. I live in a little town called Dorchester, and I have two little boys. They are 3 and 6. And I have been building my doTERRA business for a little over 4.5 years. And I can't get over how fast the time goes. I mean, it goes fast whether you're building a business or not. Any of you guys that, have busy lives realize just, oh my gosh, the weeks just fly by. And I think something that I'll just open up and say really quickly to you, if you have come here because you have somewhat of an interest in exploring doTERRA as a business, or maybe you have been building and you just want to get a little bit more comfortable in how you would talk to somebody about getting started or guide somebody else, is that the time is going to pass anyways, right? And this can be a really easy business to fit into little pockets of your day and time with consistency. With consistency is the key here. That is what will allow you to grow a business part-time on the side, because as you guys always hear me say, none of us are sitting around twiddling our thumbs wondering how to fill our hours, right? We're usually figuring out, gosh, how am I going to get everything done that I need to get done in a day, in a week? And I'm certainly discovering as my boys get older that time just gets more precious. It goes faster. There is more to squeeze in. And so the nice part, I think, about a doTERRA community is that you can tap into and connect with and leverage somebody who is building this business in a way that's similar to the way that you want to build it. And there are so many different ways that you can do it. And hopefully, within our communities, you can find a fit for somebody who is maybe living a similar lifestyle to you and has made this business work, because we're pretty much a team full of people who had really busy lives. We're working full-time jobs, part-time jobs, managing large families, and tapped into a desire to want to create something that was going to allow them to have more time and financial freedom, which is often sort of the back end of, we're kind of backwards to the way a lot of businesses and network marketing companies sort of lead and talk about their businesses. We're really fortunate that so many people just kind of organically find themselves sort of open to exploring the business because somebody had maybe pointed it out to them that, gosh, you love your oils, you're talking about them. Let's help you, start to create a little bit of income by, helping you understand the business model. So people tend to come to this business for all the right reasons, because they literally know and can share from their heart that these oils will make a difference in your life. And so when you have those experiences, it's really hard not to want to reach out and offer somebody a solution when you hear people around you struggling with cold and flu season, struggling with their emotions, struggling with sleep, struggling with parenting kids. There's all kinds of ways that you guys have all been impacted by your oils. So the biggest thing is just figuring out who can be touched by your story and your ability to just, help somebody be a part of the lifestyle that you have experienced. So I'm going to share a few slides with you guys just to kind of keep us on some topics here. And then I'll open it up for questions at the end. All right, can you guys see my slides? Somebody just give me a thumbs up if you can see. Okay, cool. Awesome. So first of all, congratulations. You guys have made an amazing decision just by being open to being on this call. I know that you guys are all going to come to this place from a different level of commitment and interest, and some of you maybe just kind of sort of dabbling in the idea of what would it actually take to build this business. Some of you are already committed and you're like, okay, give me the action steps. And what I will preface this by is saying that there are so many incredible resources, programs, teams, things that are available to you, which we'll touch on in the next couple of slides. And my advice to you is just to tap into whatever is like your language, whatever sounds relevant to you, whatever is the speed or the amount of detail or the lack of detail, whatever it is that you learn best from, it's pretty much going to be available to you. And that's one of the coolest things about the doTERRA culture, is that leaders are so generous, so giving of their resources and time, that you can pretty much find anything that you want and be able to kind of support your learning style. So this is just kind of what I have compiled. If I was going to relaunch my business or, sit down and talk with somebody that I'm launching, these would be the things that I would have them personally focus on in their first 3 months. So grab a notebook, take whatever it is, that speaks to you, or if you feel like, okay, that was the missing piece, or maybe you mentor somebody in your downline who you've been, maybe just struggling to kind of help them move along. Hopefully there will be a couple of nuggets here that you can take. And my advice to those of you guys that are committed to building your business is to figure out how to talk about this exact topic in a way that feels natural to you, so that you can be the person who can continue to guide and mentor your community and team. So one thing I want you guys to realize as a business builder is that this is an opportunity here that unlocks a lot of time and financial freedom if you're going to treat it as a business. And a lot of you guys are going to very simply be able to do that through a passion of just helping those that you serve. So something that I want you to think about is that you probably all have come from a background in some way, shape, or form, whether that is through volunteering in your community, taking care of somebody in your family. Maybe you're a teacher, maybe you work for a corporation where you crunch numbers. There's going to be something relevant in your past experiences that you'll be able to pull and use really relevantly in a doTERRA business. And then there's going to be pieces that you're going to need to learn. But I want you guys to think about being a business owner, even if that's a completely new concept to you. What have you done in the past that you would add to a resume that would, essentially kind of put you in the running to be able to talk about a product, share it with somebody, ask the questions of that person to find out how you can help them, and just to be able to continue to sort of duplicate that. So as with any business, you guys know that this is something that can create a lot of abundance. And what really separates people who are deciding to build from the casual sharers is the people that'll take kind of these steps of getting their business up and going with consistency, with seriousness. I was talking with my upline, Ange, this morning, and we were talking about how incredible it is what we can actually create in doTERRA, and that so many times people don't really take it seriously in terms of what needs to be invested back into something for it to grow. So if you are looking at, a gold rank or a platinum rank where you are going to have the opportunity to replace a $50,000 or $60,000 a year salary, or at platinum breaking into that six-figure income, and if you were going to go and open up a business somewhere or open up a franchise or have to run something that you were going to be able to pull a six-figure salary from, in a traditional business model, that would take you years and years and years of having to invest in something, whether that's paying rent for a storefront and having to purchase all the products that you're going to sell, or hire the employees that you're going to have work for you, or leverage the advertising, or for those of you guys that make that income from a career that you went to school with. Did you spend 2 to 4 to 8 years on post-secondary education that you're maybe still paying back the debt of in order to secure a career that's going to pay you, $50,000 to $100,000 a year? So this is what's available to you with your doTERRA businesses. And we're really not asking for a lot of investment back financially, right? If you guys have tapped into my calls about doTERRA as a business opportunity, you know that you can open your business and start running it by simply placing your LRP order every month and having oils in your home. That's your tool, right? Get out there, share those, help people have an experience and help them get their own wholesale account. Repeat, and then help guide those people, right? We're not asking for a huge investment, but what so many people don't realize is that you've got to be committed to doing that continuously with little pockets of your time. Like I said, you don't need full-time hours to be able to build this, but consistently over time, if you've got the patience to see this through, those ranks end up being, you know, the results of the hard work. So it's a very different business model than what a lot of people are going to be used to if they have been, you know, working in a career or a 40-hour-a-week work week, or have been in business for themselves and have sacrificed time and finances and had the headaches of truly running a business. This can feel very different, but I want you guys to really take it seriously, because it's very possible. And, you know, hopefully you guys can grasp onto some of these little tidbits that I'm going to share for you, and just learn to keep duplicating what you have done as a customer, and then help people who are ready to want to share and educate others as well. So we want to just make sure that everybody knows that's on this call that you have to place a 100 PV loyalty rewards order in order for you to get paid. And so you'll place that, you know, at any time in the span of a month. We usually recommend as a business builder that you're placing it sometime between the 5th and the 10th of the month, so that you're able to get your free product, your free oil of the month. And if you do a 125 PV order, you'll get that free oil of the month. But also, this is just a really great duplicatable thing to teach your customers, because you as a business owner, you're going to base your goals and set kind of a business plan for yourself based on the customers that you currently have that are on LRP, meaning that you've got, you know, a handful of customers who are going to be placing an order every month. It's really nice to know that those are placed at the beginning of the month, so that you can kind of plan for, okay, if I'm going to have $1,000 in sales that are going to happen every month from my, you know, customers that I've, you know, brought on over the last several months, and I want to hit elite, that means that I now have to fill a gap of 2,000 in volume. Okay, so an elite, just to give you a quick example, an elite rank achieves 3,000 in overall volume. Okay, if you've got a handful of customers, let's say you've got 10 customers that are all on LRP, and they place 100 PV, just to keep it simple math, right? You know that there's $1,000 in sales that are going to generate automatically. It's really nice if those customers, if we're teaching people to place those orders at the beginning of the month, so that you as a business owner now can kind of get those out of the way and know what you would need to generate, you know, above and beyond that LRP order. So like I said, I'm not going to jump into the chat, but if anybody has questions about that, or you want me to come back at the end and explain a little bit more than that, I'm happy to. So you're going to want to make sure that you have that set. So even if your order is, you know, maybe not going to fire off until the 12th of the month, you always want to make sure that your loyalty rewards shopping cart has 100 PV saved in it at all times, okay? doTERRA is going to pay out commissions every single Wednesday, and you maybe will have taught a class on the Saturday night before that, and maybe you have a couple people enroll that you're going to earn fast starts off of. If your shopping cart is saved below 100, doTERRA is going to skip right over you on Wednesday when they go to pay out commissions, because it's not going to recognize you as somebody who is eligible to earn them. So we've probably all done it. I've probably done it more than once. It's a mistake you never make again. So just train your brain right away as a business builder that when you are in there editing your cart, shopping, or maybe you put some of the holiday items in, and then they're a limited time order type item, they don't get saved. So just always, before you close your LRP cart, just train your brain, make sure I've got 100 PV in there, save it, and then you're good. Second thing you guys are going to want to do when you're getting up and going is joining the groups that you want to be in to help foster that sense of community. So you're going to want to ask the person who enrolled you who they're connected to. They've likely got their own product education group, or somebody in their upline that they leverage. They've probably got a business group that they're in. And then you may want to poke around and see if there's something that's specific to your interest. Maybe you're really interested in dialing into the emotional aromatherapy topic, or maybe you're really interested in pets. There's all kinds of really cool Facebook groups out there that you'll want to be a part of to continue to kind of leverage for your own knowledge and learning. Second thing you're going to want to do once you have, become a wellness advocate or you've upgraded from being a customer to a wellness advocate is to set up your personal doTERRA website. So this is your, mydoterra.com/ either your first and last name or a business name. This is where people could go, just on their own without, being with you, face-to-face or you enrolling for them, but somebody who could go to your website and either make a retail order or set up their own wholesale account on their own, which you'll find over time that a lot of people are very self-sufficient and very used to shopping online. And, you might be helping a friend or somebody who doesn't live local to you, and you've talked about some kits that they like, or you've helped them kind of come up with an order. You send them the link and just let them know. They click the Shop Now button. From there, they can choose wholesale customer or wellness advocate, and they can put their cart, they can put their shopping cart together. So what I usually tell somebody is that they are either going to put the kit that they want to start with in their shopping cart, or they're going to put the introductory packet and then the individual oils that they're interested in. Okay, so what's nice about setting up your website is that you can add your photo and you can add a little bio just to make sure that the person who is going to your link is like, yep, nope, that's so-and-so's face. I know I'm in the right spot. So it's just a way that you can personalize a tool that's available to you in your business. And the fourth thing is to get some extra tools that are going to help support your education, and then invest in whatever it is that you feel like you need to be able to share your oils. So some of the top things would be a Modern Essentials book. So you can get that in a nice hardcover book. You can also get it in a smaller softcover version. There's also a really handy app. So this is sometimes something that you can have people do right at the end of a class that you're teaching. I think it's about $10 Canadian. This may be something that you want to look at as an investment back into your business. Maybe you offer to purchase the app for anybody that gets started with you at the end of a class. Again, totally up to you, not something that you have to do, but if you're looking for something of value to be able to add or to thank a hostess with, the app is really cool because it's immediately on somebody's phone, and you're teaching people then, again, to become self-sufficient in their own oil journey. Because one of the busiest things that you can find can start to feel a little bit overwhelming is that as you're collecting customers and sharing your oils with people and posting education, is that your inbox or your Facebook Messenger or your text messages start to get really overloaded with questions. What did you say to use for this? Or how do I use this? Or my oils just arrived, what now? Which of course you're going to answer all those questions, but naturally people will just continue to keep asking, right? And you want to create a self-sufficient customer who has tools. So I will often look at sometimes looking at, let's say you're going to make 20% back on a 100 PV order, right? You're going to get $20. So what could that $20 be gifted back to a potential customer who now has the tools sitting on their counter? They're now empowered to kind of keep looking through it, and they'll, they're more likely to look up some of the health concerns that they're maybe not willing to share with you if they've got a tool there. I always look back to my first few months with my oils. If I hadn't had a book in front of me that encouraged me to keep looking for new ideas, to read a little bit more about an oil that I might not have considered, and to really just use like myself and my family as the experience and the way we were going to learn, it's easy to just let your bottles sit there, right? So if there was ever an investment that I would say is very worthwhile back into your customers, it's to help them out with getting education. And like I said, this isn't something that you have to do. You can often just let people know, here's what's available for you. But, over time, if you feel like that's a smart investment for you and it helps you to feel like you're setting people up for success and helping them to become lifelong customers, then, kicking back your fast starts is one way to look at having a potential lifelong customer who's going to every month now place an order for you. There's also the Essential Life book. You may want to get the little sample vials, so you can get like little quarter dram, or there's an even smaller size, I think, or bigger or smaller, I can't remember, but little tiny brown bottle samples that you can actually put, 10 to 15 drops of oil into. And that's something for sure in the beginning, you want to be really committed to having samples on you everywhere you go. Keep them in your car, keep them in your purse, wherever it is that you're out and about. This is when conversations come up. And it's just that much quicker to get the ball rolling. If you can say, hey, I've actually got a little peppermint here. Why don't you take this home? Try it out on your sinuses, or if you're feeling sluggish tomorrow morning, put a couple drops in your shower. You're going to want to give them like an action to use that oil with. And keep in mind that there are going to be oils that people can have a right away experience with, and oils that are key to have, but aren't maybe going to make somebody go, oh, wow, right in that moment, right? On Guard, really great smell, but a lot of times that's an oil you need to have some repeat experience with and see how you get through a cold and flu season. But oils like peppermint, wild orange, serenity, something that somebody could take home that night and all of a sudden realize that they drifted off to sleep super easy, or they actually slept through the night. Those are the oils that somebody's going to message you right back that next day and be like, wow. So think about the oils that kind of knock you off your feet or give you a real aha moment right away, versus oils that you use and rely on but kind of take some time to build that belief in. You want to hand out the oils that somebody can have a real wow of right away. Okay, so let's look at month 1. I don't know how these little scribbles and scratches. Oh, I'm doing it. The scribbles and scratches. That's funny. Okay, month 1. Let's say you've decided you're ready to go. Really simple, guys. Just to become the best student of your own life. Get really, really on purpose about using your oils, talking about them, start getting used to speaking to other people about them, especially if you've just kind of been enjoying them yourself and they haven't been coming up in topic of conversation. Likely they have, and that's the reason you've kind of ended up on this call or have been open to exploring the business, is because that you're kind of already doing that anyways. But people are going to be interested most, you guys, in knowing how you are using your oils, not how well you can memorize the top 10 uses. By all means, in those beginning classes, keep a list, and it helps to keep you on track. I still often do that, but they come to a class because they know, like, and trust you, or they know, like, and trust the person who invited them, and they just want to hear the real deal ways that you use your oils. So if you have been like saved by DigestZen in countless different ways, tell those actual stories, right? If you have had a little one who has been waking up repeatedly overnight and you have serenity stories or lavender stories or whatever it is to share, that's the stuff people want to hear. So it can be nerve-wracking and a little bit inauthentic to dive into teaching classes when you're not actually sharing your own stories yet. So whatever kit you're starting with or whatever oils you have in your home, those are the ones that you want to be really looking for opportunities to use, because those are going to be the stories that are really going to help you connect with people. You're also going to want to take time to study about doTERRA, right? So we're going to share a little bit about the Empowered Success series. This is a really key tool, guys. There are months and months and months of really awesome webinar recordings that are available to you on doTERRA.com. So whether you have an interest in pregnancy and oils, or emotions and oils, or cold and flu season, or athletes, there has likely been a webinar recorded through the Empowered Success series. So they run these every month. So I would go back through and see what topics are most relevant to your interest or the people that you know that you'll be serving. Watch those, take some notes, and just kind of gather some extra tidbits that you can share with people as you're learning and building your own experiences. doTERRA also has a really awesome YouTube channel. I don't think this gets mentioned enough, but there is so much great content on there, especially if you are looking to kind of supplement. Maybe you run a Facebook group for your customers and you've been sharing, as much as you can about oils. It's really nice to kind of pop in and be able to share a really cool healing hand story or a sourcing video, or things that just kind of expose people to more than just your own stories. It kind of just the big picture. Find a couple of really inspiring Instagram accounts. One sec, guys. I'm just going to figure out where we need some muting. Okay, I think we're good. Find some inspiring Instagram accounts, people that are using their oils on a daily basis and really doing a good job at sharing. I learned so much by following people who are really involved with their essential oils, because it sparks new ideas for me. It helps me think about how I can continue to share on social media, and then source to you. If this is still an area that you haven't really grasped a good understanding of, doTERRA's sourcing, how that's done, how that's woven into how we're able to use our oils. You'll want to know kind of how to navigate that site and to kind of familiarize yourself with doTERRA's sourcing practices, because it's going to be a really important piece to a lot of your customers in truly understanding just how different doTERRA is, right? They want to know and have access to all of the back end of how these essential oils come to be in our bottles and really understand the difference of when you go to Sage or the health food store and expect that the frankincense is going to be the same, right? So this often kind of paints that better picture for customers and is a support to you until it's something that you can speak about with confidence. So leverage what has already been created and know that that is where you can spend your study time. And it's pretty common when you're in the beginning stages of your business and you're excited that you're up a lot of late nights kind of exploring all of this. But again, just know that it's a tool that will stay relevant in your business. One sec, guys. I just need you guys can all just double check and make sure you're muted. We might have had some people join late. Okay, I'll let you guys go through and peek for your mute button. I think we're good. Okay, and then you're going to open up a fresh notebook or whatever that looks like to you, whether it's a note app on your phone, pen and paper, maybe it's a spreadsheet, and really start thinking about all the people that you know or come into contact with who are going to be interested potentially in learning more about natural ways to clean their homes, take care of their wellness, support their emotions, and also think about the people when you're making this list that you would love to do a business with. You're going to want to write their names down too. You may not be at a point where you can even picture what that conversation would look like or having somebody join, but I think that there's a lot of power in the universe when you get specific about names and people and just visualizing who may come into your life at a certain point for you to help or for you to help with a business opportunity. So this is the tracking of names. If you guys have been on my calls before, you've probably heard me say that it's still something that I'm not like perfect at. You have these conversations or these interactions with people all the time, and it's easy to forget, oh yeah, I did talk to that person 2 months ago, about an oil, and I haven't followed up with them. So if there's any advice that I can continue to give myself as well as you guys, it's to find whatever system works best for you to be able to keep track of every time you have a conversation with somebody about oils and what it was you talked about, where it was you had the conversation, so that the next time that you're ready to go follow up, you can be like, yeah, it's been a couple of months. We last talked about, her little one having a lot of ear infections, and we talked about some oils. She hasn't enrolled yet. She hasn't come to a class. So you know what? I'm going to re-invite her to my next class. So what I have on my computer is just a spreadsheet, and it's just like, I forget how I have it labeled, but think of it as interactions, right? Most times you're going to have multiple interactions with people before they're at a point where they're ready to become a customer. So whether you're just labeling it as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, if I talked to somebody at an event, I'll make a note of where the event was and, jot down they were really interested in spearmint. Maybe that's as far as the conversation goes. So my next time that I'm going to follow up, I'll remember, oh yeah, we had a conversation about spearmint. Maybe I'll find a couple of diffuser recipes that use spearmint and just say, hey, Jesse, I know, a couple months ago when we were talking at that event I was at, you were really loving spearmint. I just came across a couple of these diffusers, recipes that make me think of you. Here you go. If you're interested in getting started, here's my link. I'll touch base with you, in a couple weeks and just, see how else I can support you in your learning and in your education so far. So the follow-up piece becomes way more enjoyable when you have some specific notes about what you talked about or what oil they were interested in and how long ago it was. Because I find when I get really turned off of follow-up when I'm like, gosh, has it been 3 months? Has it been 6 months? What was it we even were last talking about? And then you feel like you got to start from scratch. And maybe you're having conversations on Instagram and Facebook and text messaging, and maybe it was a neighbor. So the more specific you can get about really nailing down that contact list and just continuing to work through it, the more in control you'll feel of what you get to control in your business, which is offering value to people and helping them get started with their oils. So let's look at month 2. This is where you really want to get in going to want to get into your sharing and teaching mode. Don't wait until you know everything, because the people who wait never end up starting. You're probably never going to feel ready to start doing this business. Guys, 4 years ago, I had word for word notes and scripts written out, and I would sit there with my script on my lap, and it's totally okay to say to somebody, hey, this is one of my first classes. I have notes here just to make sure that I stay on track and share what's most important to share with you guys. And trust me, the more you do this, the less you're going to need your notes, and the more you could just, do a class literally like with your eyes closed. But don't be afraid of having notes and having handouts and having something that's there that helps you stay on track with what you're sharing in a class, because you guys want people who are at your classes to think, I could do that, right? I remember our first, several classes that I would go to with somebody, and if they were an expert and they were able to just get up there and talk about science and talk about what the oils do in the body and really give people a deep understanding, I would be like, I could never repeat what she just repeated or share what she's shared about the oils. You want people who come to your classes to feel like, hey, I could do that. If I had to sit there and read off of cue cards or note, that's totally okay, because that's how she did it. Remember that the key piece here is that you're sharing the stories that are relevant to you, but don't be afraid to use a class script and to write out what it is that you want to talk about, because we all start somewhere. And I'm guessing that probably 99% of this on this call have not come from an aromatherapy background. We didn't go to Essential Oil University. We have started a business because we have a product that has made an impact in our family and our lives, and we know that other people need these tools that we have. And then start tracking your contacts again. I guess I kind of talked about that already in month 1, but knowing that this will be your most valuable piece of information in your business, and will stay that way forever. So commit to it now, commit to it the very month that you start your business, track those contacts. And a little tip that I'd add here that is going to really help with the follow-up process, and this is something that will evolve and grow over time, but starting to create a little toolbox of value. So let's say, for example, you've talked to somebody and you've sampled them some On Guard and tea tree and oregano, and you've been talking about them having repeated colds and flus in their homes. You guys probably all know somebody right off the top of your head who's just, they catch everything. Their home is never sickness free. And you just find that they're maybe not engaging much back with you. This is where you're going to want to pull from your little toolbox. So by toolbox, maybe this is a document that you've set up that has all the links of all of the Empowered Success webinars saved. Or maybe you have a document saved with, how to use the top 10 oils, or a couple of webinars you've watched, or like posts that you've done up that you want to share with somebody. You want to have something that you can send them to, maybe the doTERRA blog. There's little blog spotlights on a lot of the oils, and sending them class invites, but start to create a little toolbox so that you have something very quickly that you can pull and send off to somebody. Because one of the biggest things that you'll find will deter you from doing the follow-up is thinking that it has to be this like perfectly drawn up email and eloquent and all the right, information, and feeling like you got to send them all this stuff. I can still be guilty of feeling like, I don't have enough time to sit down and pen the right follow-up message, right? But follow-up can be really, really brief and easy, right? If it's just going back and remembering that you talked to somebody who suffers from a lot of colds and flus, and you can quickly go in and grab them a link. Hey, you just popped into my mind. I know that we're heading, right into the depths of cold and flu season. I just stumbled upon this webinar that made me think of you. If you have 20 minutes on the weekend, throw it on while you're doing your laundry or cooking dinner, and just see if there's anything there that, makes sense, and I can help you with some of those oils. And then month 3, let's assume all is going good. You've started to do some classes. You've started, whether that's classes or one-on-ones, or you're doing lots of Facebook classes. You're enrolling people, and now you're ready to start looking at and understanding the different ranks within doTERRA and how to structure the people that you're enrolling so that you can grow towards your goals. There's a lot to learn in this area, but I would really, really caution you guys from feeling like you have to have all that figured out, because that's what you have an upline for. You know, whether it's the person directly who enrolled you or somebody that is above them that's doing a lot of mentoring and guidance, somebody above you will take care of you and make sure that we help you start to structure people as you're enrolling them. But just be cautious that you don't spend so much time trying to understand this that you never actually get out there and start sharing your oils. All of this is completely irrelevant if you don't have customers. So keep in mind that you want to, you know, be using your oils on yourself, sharing those stories, helping people get a wholesale account, which if you've become a customer, you know, without knowing much else, you could at least help somebody else become a customer. And then as you start to have enrollments, that's when you're going to dive into some conversations with your upline around how to structure them so that you can hit the different ranks. And then the next piece, when you're kind of 3 months in and you're starting to find this groove, is what I call it's time to tribe up. Where are people going to find their connection and trust with you if you haven't already decided this, right? Is it going to be in person? Is it on social media? Is it a mix or both? I like to think that the universe works in incredible ways with people who know where they're going and who they are serving. So that's, you know, something again that you could get really off track with by feeling like you have to have this perfect Facebook group or this perfect Instagram feed with all this content. But again, none of it is useful if you don't have people that you can plug into and people that you've been having conversations with and customers that you can now, you know, help engage in some of these posts. But you do want to have a sense of where people are going to find you. And that may not be clear to you at this point, but just know that it comes in all different ways. And maybe your social time is really, really limited. And you're like, you know, I really only have about an hour after my kids go to bed by the time I, you know, do the laundry and put the dishes away and get the house in order. But I'm going to carve out an hour to make sure that I, you know, find some ways to use my oils or write out a DIY recipe that I whipped up before I went to work, and capture those little bits and start finding areas that you're going to post it and share it. Does that make sense? If you like, I'm using that example. If you're somebody who's really short on time and you're not out and you're not connecting with a lot of people on a day-to-day basis, and you know that you're going to have to kind of start to build your community online, that's something that you're going to have to make sure that you're making time in your day, right, to create those stories and have an opportunity to have content to post. And maybe you're totally not interested in being attached to social media and you're out and about at your kids' sports and you work with lots of people, and that's going to be your audience, right, is making sure that you're using your oils and putting them on your kids at sporting events and passing them out when somebody behind you is sneezing or stuffed up, you know, and you're going to do that real in-person thing, and exchanging information of the people that you shared it with so that you can go home and add them to your list. So just have some conscious thoughts around where it is that people are going to expect to find you. And you may dabble in lots of different ways, but you're going to kind of want to have a home base of where your business is going to run from. So one quick tip I am going to give you guys right now, especially if you are in the space where you're starting to enroll people when it comes to structure, is kind of adopting this for yourself or anybody who you enroll that would like to at least build to the rank of Premier. This is just sort of a tip or a trick or a process that you can utilize until you have somebody who actually is ready to do this business with you, because most of us start this and we're not starting with business partners right away, right? So if you are starting your business and you're gonna, you know, have some classes over the next couple of weeks or couple of months and you're enrolling people, we want to help you make sure that you're starting to place people in your organization so that you are set up to move into the ranks of Premier and beyond. So if you're really, really new, basically what that means is that you're having kind of structured legs of your business, or we call them legs. That's the easiest way I can kind of think of it, for potential business builders. So what you could look at doing if you haven't got any structure going and you've just got this like front line of customers that are growing, is you can enroll a ghost account. So what that would look like is you could call it a ghost account or a placeholder account. Somebody, maybe a sister, a friend, somebody who is happy to let you open up a wellness advocate account in their name, probably somebody that's maybe not going to use oils or want to do the business down the road, but you can create an account in their name, place that account on your front line. You don't have to do anything with it, but as you're starting to enroll people, you can now start to tuck them under this placeholder account for the day down the road where somebody is going to become a partner in your business, and they could take over that account and have a little bit of a customer base started under them. So again, that's, if you're really, really new, that's maybe not going to make any sense. Like something you want to jot down to have a conversation with their upline, if that's something that they recommend. But somebody could eventually take over that account. So you want it to be somebody who's maybe not necessarily going to care if you pop them out of that spot. Okay. All right. So that's it for my slides. I'm going to come back and spend some FaceTime with you guys. Now, when it comes to creating a space for people to find you online, whether that's a Facebook group or an Instagram account, the way I started my business was literally the moment I decided that I loved my oils and people needed to hear about them. I knew that because at the time I was running a home-based daycare, so I was not getting out of my house during the daytime hours. And I was also pregnant with my second son. So it's not like I had tons of energy and I wasn't going out and doing lots of social stuff. I knew that a Facebook group for me would be the key spot that I could start to share my experiences. So I invited people to that group as they were interested in learning as well. But I used the same concept for my business. So the second I knew that I would create a business with doTERRA, I was like, you know what? I want to start to foster a community for people who want to do this business as well. So my advice to you, even if you don't have anybody yet on your team doing this business with you, is just to energetically create a space for your future team to join you, okay? Even if this is a Facebook group where nothing happens for a while, you might want to get a feel for what it's like to post some inspirational quotes or to just kind of test out what it would be like to be a leader, and maybe you do want to throw some content in there. But I think there's something really powerful about being intentional about what it is that you're creating, right? If you are somebody who's been building for a while and you're like, nobody is joining me, nobody is interested in doing this business, I want you to take a real close, honest look at how would people know that you do this business, and be really honest. Is there anywhere that you're showing up either in conversations with people or online that would give anybody any idea at all that you are building a doTERRA business, right? You have to be your biggest advocate. You're the billboard, you are the advertisement for somebody to join this business with you. So be super proud of what it is that you're building, and know that people would be really lucky to join you, even if you have no idea what you're doing, right? People just want to feel secure that you know just a little bit more than them, and that you're willing to, develop yourself and pour time into them and help figure it out as you go. And, don't feel like you have to be an expert or reach a certain rank before you can create a space for others to join you. By all means, you are welcome to leverage your uplines and tap them into Facebook groups that have things going on. But truly, guys, that when I think about the leaders on my team that have been able to create really sustainable, tight communities, people that join their businesses and stay, they have created their own space and their own communities and their own Facebook groups where they post things, because those customers joined that person for a reason, right? They have that trust with them. They're their go-to person. And if you're somebody who does want to build a long-term business, at some point you will be leading others and you will be teaching them to do what you do. So test that out as early as you're ready to, and it will you'll find that you'll end up in those conversations, or you'll speak about something with more confidence because in the back of your head, I have a Facebook group. So, you might have that customer who starts saying, yeah, I've kind of been talking about my oils. I don't know if I'd really do this or not. You can be like, you know what? I've got a space, let me pop you into my Facebook group. We'll start talking about some of the business stuff. The earlier that you can embrace and do that, guys, it's just going to benefit you in the long run and help you to continue to boost your confidence and elevate your leadership. Document your journey. So again, if you've been on a call with me, you've probably heard me invite you to pull out your phones. But again, this is a perfect example, right? How many of your coworkers, family, friends, people that are connected to you on social media, again, would have no idea that you're even entertaining building a doTERRA business or that you do doTERRA? You got to hang out on a Tuesday or on a whatever night it's Monday night with a bunch of people learning, right? And so these are the little things that I kind of take and I capture and I'll share with people. Oh, just, hosted a call for my community on how to get started on your business. And your version could be, hey, it's, I just put my kids to bed, tapped into this call. I'm learning a little bit more about doTERRA as a business. And then that just starts to plant seeds for other people who are going to now kind of like start keeping tabs on what it is that you're doing. It opens up a conversation for people. They have to know what you're up to, guys. So I know that can be super, super uncomfortable for a lot of us to post anything about what it is that we're up to. But so many people are getting their information these days online. That's not going to change. And just human nature, right? People want to have a little sneak peek into your life. Like that's why we're all famous for hopping on Facebook for 30 minutes at a time and scrolling, because we like to see what our friends and family are up to. So think about your journey and what it is that somebody's going to decide to join you on. They want to know that you're committed to showing up to your learning, to showing up to events or watch little things, right? Like you may be going to hop off this and watch a webinar, snap a picture, share it somewhere, let people know what you're up to, right? That is how you can best advocate for you as a business builder that somebody would want to consider joining. Fill your family and your friends or your tribe or whoever it is that you rely on for support in your life, fill them in on your plans. I've had so many conversations over the years with people who are struggling to get out there and teach classes, or they're like, no, my spouse at home, they don't really understand or get what it is that I'm doing. Again, guys, this is on you to advocate for yourself and to share what it is that you're doing and working on. And if you are needing somebody at home or somebody in your family to help pick up the slack a little bit, because you're like, I'm going to build this business and I'm going to get out there and I'm going to teach classes, or whatever way it is you decide to build, there's going to be some trade-offs of your time. There are going to be areas of your life that you were maybe spending time in, or things that you were doing that are going to have to shift for you to be able to get a business up and running. I'm just being honest. You're not going to build it and not feel a difference in your life. So ask for the help where it's needed. Fill your family, friends, tribe into what it is that you're doing. If you're like, I really would like to, start generating $1,000 every month extra into my household, you're going to want to get out there and teach some classes. So is that going to mean that maybe every Tuesday night you open up your home and you invite people to come and learn about oils, or maybe you have people that are willing to host for you, and now mom's out of the house 2 or 3 nights a week for a month? Sometimes that's what has to happen. So ask for the help where you need it. Know that sometimes means paying for a babysitter when it's not in the budget. I've done that so many times, guys, because I was that confident that my time spent out of the house or my time spent with another builder helping them with a class would come back in abundance in my business and in my growth. So if you're wavering in that confidence, this is where this business can get really shaky and not progress for you. So be really clear about what you're doing, who you're serving, where you need the help. Sometimes that's going to be tough conversations, and sometimes you're going to have people or family in your life that are really uncomfortable with that. So it's something that you work through when you're being communicative, about your plans and what it is that you're doing. We have 1 month left of Diamond Club. This would be one of my last tips. So if you are newer in doTERRA, Diamond Club is a program that runs 2 times a year. So this is where people who are at least a premier or above rank, they're usually going to be silvers and golds and above that, they go out and travel pretty extensively for 4 months, up to 4 months at a time, teaching classes, supporting new builders, visiting customers that are out of town, and doTERRA does some reimbursements for them, and that's still happening this month. So if this is a month where you are looking at really getting some classes going, or you want to attend some classes just so that you can kind of pick up on a few different people's styles, post in whatever business group that you're in, hey, does anybody have any Diamond Club classes happening this month in such and such a place or city or wherever it is, because it's a great program to leverage having somebody join you at a class to help you with some of your early classes. And it's great to just go to a Diamond Club class. So it's happening till the end of this month. And there's usually an extra overload of classes that are happening for you to be able to tap into. So that Diamond Club happens twice a year. So I always tell my team, like, leverage it. It's a great opportunity to have somebody go and teach. You maybe have family and friends in Calgary. Find out who's doing Diamond Club in Calgary. They can get them out to a class. Again, one of those tools that's available to you. Keep in mind, we haven't even opened it, and I'm probably not going to do it just for time's sake, but Empowered Success. We didn't even really jump into that tonight, but this is going to be your doTERRA created guideline for building your business. You know what? I will show it to you real quick. So we could almost do a whole series of calls on Empowered Success, but this is where you will hear me say there is no reason that you can't build whatever kind of incredible business you want, whether you live close to the person who enrolled you or not. If you go to doTERRA.com and you go to the Advocates button, under Education, this is where you're going to find the Empowered Life series webinars that I was talking about, but here is Empowered Success. So this is your tool guide. Maybe it's not going to open. That's the computer. That's going to guide you if you're somebody who wants that step-by-step on paper, how to get your business going. Spend some time over the next couple of weeks really diving in and understanding the Empowered Success guides. There's a guide for customers, the people that just want to be customers, the Live Guide, a Share Guide, the guide for people who just kind of want to dabble and share their oils, but they're not really interested in truly building a business. Your Build Guide will be for those of you guys that are wanting to actually, duplicate yourself and build a business. But the Launch Guide is where you're going to want to start. Okay, so make sure that you get a chance to download this as soon as you're ready to start your business. Book a call with the person who enrolled you or the person who is mentoring you so that you can go through this and just kind of make sure that you're following the action steps to really get your business up and started above and beyond, just what I talked about tonight. And then again, as you're growing and enrolling people, there will actually be a guide for each of the ranks to really help you understand what it is that you would be doing in that month. Social media course, like all kinds of really good stuff right here. So when I say there's no excuse, there really isn't, because it's all here for you. And really, I would say like 80 to 90% of the success you're going to have in this business is going to be what you own and control and show up for and dive into yourself. You're going to bounce stuff off of your mentor and check in with them as needed. You'll want to have a conversation around, what kind of support you like, whether you want to just check in by text or you're like, no, I need a face-to-face coffee with you at least once a month. Whatever that looks like for you, don't ever be afraid to reach out and ask for help. But I know that I'm working with somebody who is going to have success building this business. They come to me and they've got content, conversation, experiences to provide, and then I'm like, yep, that's great. No, I would tweak this, and you're going to kind of guide them along the pathway. But if you think you're doing this business and you ask for time with your mentor or the person who's guiding you, and you're just looking for them to give to you, you're not deep enough in your business. Okay, you need to at least be doing the basics of sharing your oils and talking about them and posting about them and teaching classes and meeting with people, because there's all kinds of stuff that can be tweaked around that, right? You'll have classes where you're like, man, nobody's signing up, or I'm not getting any engagement. Like, reach out to your upline and have a call around that, but you'll have stuff that you're saying, right? This is the stuff I'm doing. How come it's not turning into this? And that's what your upline is for, is to be able to kind of have those conversations and help tweak things for you. But your business is your business, right? This isn't something that somebody else is going to build for you. This is for you to own and for you to carve out the time consistently. Again, small pockets, but do it consistently. Don't blow up your social media and do a bunch of classes and enroll a bunch of people and then disappear for 2 months. Because you know what's going to happen? Your customers are going to disappear right with you, right? They're looking for somebody who's committed and will continue to lead them and help them feel engaged with their oils. And you just build on that every single month. And over time, you're going to have this beautiful community of customers, and inevitably a small portion of those customers end up wanting to do this business with you if you're modeling what's possible as a business. So that's all I have for you guys. If anybody would like to grab their phone and take a little picture of their time on this call, you guys can do that now. I'm going to do it too. So I'll give you a minute to do that. I'm going to pop into the chat box here. And if anybody wants to unmute themselves and ask any questions at all, again, this call was just my thoughts around what I would have somebody do in their first 3 months. So if this is like old hat to you, or there was something here that, you know, might make a little bit of a difference in you getting started again, like I said at the beginning, guys, I've been building my business for close to 5 years now. There's really not much different that I do today that wouldn't be the same as somebody who is starting their business brand new today. The day that I stop sharing about my experiences, using my oils, using myself and my family as the experimental people to have those experiences with, my business dries up as well, right? I'm interested as well in continuing to grow. And yes, there are different like leadership and business things that you'll start to evolve in as you've got a team of people. But I do the same things that I would ask somebody who's brand new starting. And know that even if you've come away from your business for a short time, or maybe it's been a long stretch and you're ready to get going again, you have the power to start anytime you'd like. And you're going to mentor people, guys, and have people on your teams who stop and start and jump in and out of this business. Keep in mind, you only need a couple of real committed all-stars, right? If you're going to grow a 6-figure platinum business, you need 3 committed partners. I think each of us over the course of a few years, if it was going to take you 2 or 3 years to get to platinum, I think all of us could find 3 committed people who would do this business, and you're just going to teach each 3 of those people to find their own 3, right? Break it down into really simple things. Just keep finding customers, keep taking care of them, keep demonstrating what's possible for those who love their oils and want to share them. Cool. All right. So I can stay on as long as anybody wants to, but thank you guys for hanging out here tonight with us. I appreciate you guys being on. I know that there might be notes or questions or conversations. So if you are somebody who has an upline who's not me, take control of your biz, get off this call, text them, message them, let them know what you next need, book some time to bring some conversation to them and let them know, you know, whether there is a financial goal or you just want to have experiences with teaching classes and it's maybe not about money, but you just want to get into the pattern of teaching. Let them know what you want out of this experience right now so that they can plug you in and support you in the best way. All right, thanks guys. I'm gonna pop into the chat box here, but you're all free to go. Thanks for being on.